As I said earlier, and repeatedly in the past, I'm not at all a very important intelligence person, intelligence-wise, information-wise, but I'm just a university professor. The laboratory I worked at, we were in contact with researchers from other universities. We'd invite them over to our university and we would cooperate. There was nothing secret about what we did, and I think even if the American government had requested scientific know-how or information from the laboratory I worked at, it could have done it through one of its universities. It could have made the request from the Malik Ashtar University, and we would, by all means, handed them the information that they needed. The scientific information that we have in mind are not confidential or secret for us to want to keep them confidential. So there was no need for that. Well, for a period you were quasi-freed, semi-freed. Why don't you try to, with the help of your friends or Iranians or through whatever means, to get your message heard and to get out of the country? What happened for that the Americans eventually freed you and you came here to the Iran's interest section? As I said earlier on, the issue of my abduction and my captivity here in America took 14 months. I cannot get into details. Briefly. Well, I would like to suffice to say, in answer to your question, I thought I was a soldier with one round in my gun. They pressured me to help with their propaganda against Iran. I thought, well, I was in a situation with no equipment in my hand, and it's better that I should look at the situation as a problem, as an issue, and see what I can do. What I talked to the CIA about was that I've made a promise to myself I won't talk against my country at all. They said they had a red line for me as well. And their red line was for me to not talk about my abduction or the things that went on afterwards to anyone. They had done some background search and said that if you want to contact anyone inside Iran or on U.S. soil, we are monitoring you 24/7. And the possibility for you to succeed, to achieve your goal and to complicate the matter even further, you're not going to do that. There was evidence that they were actually monitoring what I was doing. And so I thought if I wanted to risk more and get them to suspect me even more, I preferred to stay to bide my time and to get to know the U.S. intelligence agency and how things work in the United States. I got good information from the people that were around me. I realized how the CIA worked and the agents worked, and thought I could make the best benefit from the way things worked there. What I realized was that during the course of time, if I behaved normal, and that if I gave them the impression that I was okay with the situation in the United States, and that I was even making plans to stay in the United States for the long run, it would give them the impression that I was cooperating with them and that I had completely forgotten about my abduction. So step by step, they will give me more and more freedom with which I can create the possibility of escaping the United States and go to another country where I can go back to Iran and freely prove what I've had happened to me. So the time war and the psychological war that I had defined for myself told me that, helped me make a video of my own statement and posted on the net, which was later on broadcast by the IRIB, the Iran's television. When the American government realized what happened, they relocated me from Tucson or Tucson with guards all around me to Virginia. And until this moment, as we speak, I've been monitored by the armed agents of the CIA. What kind of... did you get a death threat? Well, what they told me, apart from a death threat, they put more psychological pressure on me as well. They told me directly that they would kill me when I sent my video of my abduction to Iran's intelligence ministry. When they realized, as I said earlier, they relocated me from Tucson to Virginia. They threatened me every time, and because I was talking, I had to inform the Iranian Ministry of Intelligence in a country that was hostile to the United States. They started guarding me with armed agents, and they considered me a criminal. The question I have of the United States government is that if I were a criminal, why didn't you give me a representation so I could be clear on my charges? And why was I kept all locked with guards all around me with no freedom at all? If this is a free country, I would like to get a cogent answer from the U.S. government. That's the question I asked of the CIA agents. They didn't answer me. I pointed out 10 problems with their citizen rights that they didn't give me. I told them, but without any charge, they relocated me from Tucson to Virginia. They didn't give me show me any permits or warrants before they started searching me. They cut off my communication with my family, as they did before. Well, you're going back to Iran with the help of the Iranian interest section in the Pakistani embassy. You were threatened by the Americans that you would be handed over to the Israelis, who can guarantee that on your way to Iran, that will not happen, that you won't be handed over to Israel. Whatever, well, anything could happen to me on my return trip to Iran. My only request is that independent media that are truth-seeking media and want to carry out their human and moral responsibility, I want them to take my trip seriously. I said in my video, I've talked of safe return, and the reason I did it was because of the threats I got from the United States government and other intelligence agencies. I would want to request the media to not treat my return to Iran lightly. Given what happened to me in the past 14 months, my return to Iran is at least important to several intelligence agencies involved in my abduction and captivity. Well, my death, they would want me to not go back to Iran safely, and the things that I will say after my arrival there. And